Hello everybody, my name is David. This is my part 2 of my question and answer video. If you missed part 1, please go watch it. What I'm doing is I'm answering people's questions from the last Q&A video last Monday. I do this every single Monday, and I'm answering people's questions about personal growth, healing, recovery from emotional trauma, bad relationships, things like this. All I ask is you guys give me your location. Just tell me where you're from, please. I'd appreciate it. Let's get started right away with Darnell in Illinois. Hello, Darnell. Why does it seem like if we don't get to the bottom of our childhood traumas, that it seems to get worse as we get older? Should it fade away instead as we get older? Good question, Darnell. I think this is a multifaceted question. I think you have trauma. And let me, okay, so we have child development. Child development occurs until adulthood, right? Our brains keep growing till we're 25 years old. We also have emotional development. Emotional development begins right from birth, and it continues into into adulthood as well. And we need every year of this development until we become adults. The problem with childhood trauma, it can halt development. You may never finish developing all the way into a great adult, into the beautiful person we're all supposed to be. We may have some of this development that stopped, and we can finish that later in our adulthood. That's okay. Usually, most of us, not all of us. It also can get too late and we get too old, but that's one aspect. So trauma alone was scary, and it hurt, and it didn't make sense, and all this stuff, and it really made our emotions traumatic. That needs to be dealt with. That causes shame. It makes us feel like we're bad people until we start to try to understand it a little bit, accept ourselves, forgive people, things like this. We work through the trauma until it feels better. So that's one aspect. We need to feel better about the incident, about the experience. But the other problem is what we missed because of that. We missed learning the things we needed to learn, Darnell. And so in that case, we need to still learn it. It doesn't just go away or get better. We need to learn these things. And because we don't, or if we don't, then these problems will keep surfacing and surfacing and surfacing, because these are things that are mandatory for functioning in life. If we have childhood trauma, we almost have all been neglected. We missed out on some development. We didn't learn what we needed to learn. We didn't learn how to meet our needs ourselves. We become dependent on other people. And that needs to be fixed. Doesn't matter how old you are. It needs to be fixed. So trauma, painful experience. I need to feel better about it. I need to understand it and process and work through that. But I also need to learn the things I missed out because of this trauma. Just neglect is traumatic. Babies are born. We all have doctors say up to 34,000 different emotions. Imagine a little baby with tens of thousands of emotions and can't regulate any of it. You make a loud noise, they scream and yell, and they cry because they're so aroused. There's so many emotions and hormones. They don't know what to do. They need help. It's scary. Help me. And if the parent doesn't, they become hyper-aroused, and it's trauma. That's trauma. It's traumatic. Their nervous system goes online. They can't handle it anymore. They don't know what happened. It creates shame. Trauma creates shame. I feel like I'm a bad person. That needs to be fixed. That can get better over the years. Your painful, traumatic experience can get better over years, right? But time doesn't fix knowledge. You can't just wait it out and then you learn what you needed to learn. We're not born with this. So if we don't learn, we never know. Right? Obviously, don't learn, we don't know. So we need to learn. There's things we need to learn. I hope that makes sense. We need to learn to socialize We need to learn to meet our needs. Period. And our parents teach us that. Or caretakers. If they neglected us and they traumatized us, they failed. We need to do that for ourselves. And we don't usually, especially right away. So we find ourselves in these bad relationships. And then finally, it's so bad, we lose everything. And we finally decide to go seek out the help we need. And in that help, hopefully we learn the things we need to know. And then we're finally okay later in life. Finally. What a waste, huh? I mean, that you guys get so angry at your exes for wasting, you say, 10 years or whatever with your ex. But all of this didn't have to happen if our parents just taught us what they're supposed to teach us. Suzanne from the United Kingdom. Hello, Suzanne. My question relates to isolation and the brain damage it causes. I'm going to finish reading this, but I just got to say I'm not aware of brain damage because of isolating. What I can tell you is if you have big, major emotional problems, they can get worse because you're isolating. Because you don't know how to fix it, and you've been programmed to think you're a horrible, bad person that deserves all this crap. So you just sit and isolate, and you just take over for somebody else, and you just keep beating yourself up. I guess that, but on its own, just isolating, I don't know of it causing brain damage. I just wanted to say that. I could be wrong. I don't know. Help me out. I was married to a covert narcissist for 15 years and now apart for 18 months. He argued with my family, which forced me to be estranged from them. I am now physically isolated. I keep in contact with my family and my friends through phones and messages, which are loving and supportive. Do you think this is enough to avoid long-term brain damage? Yeah, I don't, like I said, I'm not aware of brain damage because you're isolating. What you might be thinking is something I said before, something that is similar to this, and that is the trauma, the abuse you have in relationships, and it's the up and down, the good and the bad, the back together or break up, back together, all these, it makes your hormones rise and fall. It literally secretes hormones in your brain, floods your brain, and then takes it all away, and to the point where it can actually change the size of your amygdala, and this shrinking and swelling causes brain damage. That might be what you're implying. If so, you simply get away from the source, get away from that relationship that's making you go up and down, and your sleep helps recover. Sleep helps you repair your brain. That might be what you're talking about, Suzanne. I don't know. Please keep asking me more questions, okay? Set me straight if I'm wrong, but I'm just not aware of isolation alone causing brain damage, okay? Tracy from Victoria, British Columbia. Hello, Tracy. Are people with borderline personality disorders, or I'm sorry, that's not how you asked it. You framed it as, are BPD users, are borderlines users just like narcissists? Or are borderlines not aware of what they are doing because they are so wrapped up in their own BS that they can't see how they are affecting others? All personality disorders are wrapped up in their own BS so much that it's hard for them, difficult for them to see how they're affecting others. Matter of fact, it's pretty difficult. It can be difficult, and for all of us to understand how we affect others. I've said this before, but all of you have hurt somebody in your life, and I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt and saying that all of you that have hurt people in your lives at some time weren't aware you were doing it. You weren't aware how you were affecting them, right? There's nobody that can argue that. So that's the problem. The real problem, or let's say what keeps them from getting the help they need, is themselves. They're standing in the way of their own self. They refuse to self-examine because they have so much shame. They feel like such bad people. So it's really hard to sit there and go, yeah, that's bad about me. Yeah, I made a mistake here. I'm not going to... It's just so hard for borderlines and narcissists to do that. Both of them. And they both lack awareness. That's their problem. Even if they do go get help, which is rare, they go get help because of everybody else. What can I do to everybody else? Yeah, neither of them are aware, and that is the problem. They're hurting people. Now, I'm not excusing them, and I'm not saying there aren't people that are aware they're hurting you. Yes, there are. Yes, I understand that. I admit that. There's people that want to hurt you, and they're aware they're hurting you. But if you really understand the difference between sympathy and empathy, you'll understand all of this. Narcissists have empathy. Because all empathy is I know I'm hurting you. Doesn't mean they feel it. That's a falsity. Sympathy is like feeling it. Sympathy is I'm right there with you. Oh, it's horrible. But the sociopath has enough empathy to say, yeah, I know I hurt them. I'm trying to. And I see I'm hurting them. Good. Sympathy is your friend next to you, wiping away your tears, saying, I love you, crying with you. That's what we kind of get confused with empathy. But yeah. Your question, are BPDs users just like narcissists? It's a spectrum disorder. Okay? You're going to have borderlines that swear up and down they've never used or hurt anybody. And they've just destroyed lives. Okay? It's all a spectrum disorder. There are some borderlines that are way worse than others. Some borderlines murder their children. Lots of mothers in prison diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. They murdered their children. It's a spectrum disorder. Lots of borderlines are users. Lots of narcissists are users. And lots of, both of them don't believe they use anybody. Even though they might, they're not aware of it. I hope that makes sense. Awareness. Consciousness, right? None of us are fully conscious. All of us have a subconscious. The second that we are fully conscious of our subconscious, then we can judge other people for not being aware of things. Cheryl from Wisconsin. I believe you're from Wisconsin. This is WI. Hello, Cheryl. Why do narcissists get real emotional and ramp up smear campaigns when you're not reacting? Because they're trying to get you to react, Cheryl. The general reason people smear campaign is they can't control you anymore, so they start trying to control the people around you in your world. That could be your customers for your business. That could be your family, your friends, your next girlfriend, boyfriend, your children. They're still trying to control you, and they realize they can't. So they start a smear campaign trying to control the people around you to control you. And when you don't react and it's not working, they're getting really upset because narcissists are dependent on other people to help with their emotions. They can't meet their emotional needs themselves. They can't self-soothe. They don't take care of themselves. They're totally dependent on people, and they're trying to meet their needs. I'm not saying it works or it's healthy or it's good. That's just the way they do it. And when you don't react, they're still not getting what they need, and they freak out. That entitlement, they should just get what they want because it's them, right? But now you're making them work for it. Now they don't get anything they want. They're totally codependent, so they believe that you should be doing whatever they want you to do. You're their other half. How dare you have a life without them? How dare you go date somebody else? How dare you not talk to them? How dare you ignore them? How dare you don't do what they want? You aren't doing what they want, they'll get other people to make you do what they want. Sometimes it works. It's all about control and needs. Thank you. Jeff from Indiana. Hello, Jeff. David, is it normal for thoughts of sex to be sickening now since it just makes me think of my ex with another man? Hope this passes soon, LOL. Here's my advice, Jeff. And I'm sorry, your question is it normal? Honestly, it's not normal to think of your ex having sex with other people. I gotta say that. Under these circumstances, Jeff, be good to yourself. Be easy on yourself. It's okay. You were in a tumultuous, toxic, nasty, dependent relationship where you both were one person and you're responsible for what she does and she's responsible for what you do. So neither of you are allowed to do anything the other doesn't like, even when you're not dating anymore. How dare she go and have sex with other people? There's nothing normal about this, Jeff. You're asking me, is your reaction normal? Well, the whole goddamn thing is abnormal. Why would your reaction be normal? Now, if you had a normal relationship and a normal breakup, I would tell you, no, Jeff, that's weird. For you to keep thinking about sex with other people that she's having. No, but you weren't in a normal relationship. It was sick. It was toxic. It was dependable. It was dependent. It was abnormal. Just so sick. My advice is fill the void of her loss that her loss created. Fill the void up that her loss created. I don't care what you think about her. I don't care what you think about her now. I don't care if you hate her or love her or miss her or never want to talk to her again. The problem is that she was a big part of your life, right? How much? 40% of your life? 60% of your life, Jeff? Let's say in a 24-hour day, she was about 16 hours of it. What are you going to do for those 16 hours every day now? Because she's gone. It's a void. And when we have a void, we think about it. She's gone. I'm thinking about her. Thinking about her with other men. I hope she doesn't do that. Oh, and is it normal to be sick of sex? Yeah, when you're such a sick-ass relationship, yeah. And why do you need to think about sex right after a relationship is over? That's not healthy either. That would be reaching for something external to help me feel better about a feeling I have that's internal. Doesn't work. So we don't have sex right after a relationship ends. That we were a sexual relationship of any kind. We end it. We give it some time. We have some closure. We've learned from it, and then we begin another one. Why would you want to go right and have sex with someone else? So yeah, normal or not, I understand completely. Yeah, I hope that helps. That blonde artist from California, hello. What are some misconceptions about cluster Bs that are out there? You give an example. Narcissists never apologize. And you say, yeah, but coverts do it all the time as a get out of jail free card. And another one you say, borderlines are overly empathetic. I know, right? That's one that kills me. Borderlines have so much empathy, they care too much. Not the borderlines I know. I've ever known, they didn't care about nothing too much. And they didn't have too much empathy. Trust me about that one. Some common, I didn't give this any thought, so I didn't write down any. But just offhand, narcissists, biggest misconception, is that they're confident. Right? BS, they're confident. They look it. Because if I look the part, I am the part. They're actors. They're method actors. They believe that if they do something, they are something. And it doesn't matter what you do, only how you feel, and they have no idea how they feel about anything. Emotional idiots. They're the opposite of confident. Okay? And they're egotistical. Ego, to the untrained eye, looks like confidence. And it's not at all. It's the sheer lack of confidence. The sheer feelings of inadequacy, never good enough. And they overcompensate by trying to be better than us. Look, I'm smartest. There's nobody like me. I do this better than anybody. I'm going to be famous someday because I'm better than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm nicer than you. I'm whatever. Just always in competition because they're inadequate. Inferior. They have inferiority complex. And that does not breed confidence. Confidence comes from experience. Their experiences have been awful. Another misconception is that they're in love with themselves. They hate themselves. They don't even have a self. And what they think, I would hate to really see what narcissists think of themselves. Ugh. Common. So common, right? They're staring at their reflection. That's not what that means. That's misinterpreted. That they love their appearance so much, they stare at it in the reflection of the water. What it's saying is that they're totally caught up in their own world. That's what that means. Total misconception. Another one is that borderlines are sweet, innocent, people full of empathy. Just a common misconception. I would love for you guys to list some more. There's so many more, right? There's so many things that are wrong that people believe about narcissists and borderlines that are just wrong. That narcissists don't have empathy. Yes, they do. They don't have much sympathy. I don't see them sympathizing with anybody. They don't give a shit. They know you're hurting. They know that. They don't care. Empathy is I know you're hurting. Sympathy is I care. They don't have sympathy. See that? Another common misconception. I'd love to hear more. List some. Guys, give them to me. It's awesome. I love it. Thank you. Edith from Quebec. Hello, Edith. David, why are they filled with such control? Don't they realize the more control, the more they lose control? That would take awareness, Edith, and they lack awareness, don't they? They don't see cause and effect. God, I do this, and people always react the same way. Well, then, if you want a different reaction, why don't you change what you're doing? No. Over and over and over and over and over again. Why do they control people? Because they're dependent on you. They need you. Way more than we need each other in society. No, they're dependent. There's emotional needs. And they don't give it to themselves. They need you to do it. This is, control freaks are a product of narcissistic parenting. Narcissist parents teach children to be control freaks. It's such conditional attention. I will only give you, it's the parent saying, I'll only give you what you want if you do what I want. And it's that control factor. Instead of the only time in our lives we need unconditional love. The only time you ever unconditional love someone is, God damn it, unconditionally love your child for a little while. They need that. You start putting conditions on them, they turn into control freaks. They start doing it back. Hope that makes sense. Blue Columbine from California, Central California. Hello. How do you respond to someone when they invalidate you or gaslight you in a casual way? When they say things like, in your mind, basically in a very underhanded way, calling you crazy or that you don't or can't think for yourself or understand reality. A simple term like that used over and over has the potential to completely erode a person's sense of self and plague them with self-doubt. Yet, I hear it used so often, as if it's acceptable. What are your thoughts? You're right. Anything that makes you feel that bad over and over and over again will erode yourself, your personal sense of who you are. So we don't allow it. It doesn't matter how. You got to make it stop, right? And hopefully you did it in a way that best felt like you. In other words, if you told someone to stop, if you freaked out, God, why do you always do that? You always do that to me, God, stop it. You may make it stop, but you aren't going to be too happy with yourself. You're going to say, God, I wish I did it in a different way. So you said casual, right? I mean, because if it comes to somebody that's in our lives, we must address it. We can't ever let people make us feel bad in our lives. Casual contact, who cares? Let it go. Never talk to them again. If you have to talk to them again, we can't let them do it. The more confidence you guys have, the more better you will be equipped to handle this. Because the worst way to handle this is through emotions, an emotional reaction. If you simply just took a second after you said that and you waited, instead of right now, you wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And you say, what did you mean by that? Or, please don't ever say that again. Or, not in my mind, in my heart. Or, yes, and is there something wrong with what's in my mind? Are you saying that you're right or something? I'm wrong? What are you saying? Why don't you be more clear? Because that's passive aggressiveness, isn't it? And all we do is we just bring everything to surface. Or we walk away, right? We're done. Never deal with them again. Let them go through life, treating everybody like that and never having any kind of successful relationships, long lasting. Let them suffer. But don't make it about you, and there's no reason you need to suffer, right? these kinds of things, who cares what people think about you? We don't always have to win with people. We don't have to fight and argue and be correct and tell everybody, you can't do that to me, blah, blah, blah. Just walk away and leave them alone. Just walk away and leave them alone. If it bothers you, say something, but try not to make it an emotional reaction. Just say, never say that again to me, please. I don't like that. I mean, or just give them a funny look and walk away. But don't emotionally react, right? I don't know other way to help you with that. If you process emotions, right? What do you feel? Angry. Why? He insulted you. Can you do something about it? Yep. I just gave you some things you can do about it. Always do something about it. Don't do nothing. Meaning, nothing isn't walking away and never talking to them again. That's something. But just sitting there and not saying anything, and then let them do it tomorrow, and then on Tuesday, and then again later Tuesday, that's doing nothing. Do something. If there's something you can do about it, always do something about it. Okay? That's it, guys. Thank you very much. Very, very much. You guys have been great, very supportive, interactive. It's been beautiful. Please go down the comment section and keep interacting with each other. Come up with more common misconceptions about narcissists, borderline, sociopaths, psychopaths. I'd love to hear them. Love yourself first, guys. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next Monday. Bye.